Good afternoon, traders, and welcome to this week's weekly market analysis, Monday the 20th of November. Before we do get started, please understand that any advice in today's session is of a general nature only and that your personal circumstances have not been taken into consideration. Okay, I'll bring up first of all the major data that's due out this week whilst we have a bit of a chat about what's happened and what could be happening in the week ahead. Starting off, US dollar. Well, US dollar tumbled on Friday. They've been having a bit of difficulties with the tax reforms, and although there was some progress with the reform bill passing through the House, it appears that the major battle is going to take place in the Senate. So we need to wait to see what gets approved. The major talking points are that there is a version of it that if it gets approved, the corporate taxes will remain in place, but individual tax rates will revert back to normal after a 2-year period. Of course, this will have a major sticking point to the majority of the public, and they're having a bit of difficulties with that area on that note. So US dollar did take a bit of a tumble on Friday, and mainly of a result from the tax issues as I've just mentioned. In terms of moving forward in December, there is a high expectation that there will be an interest rate increase for the US dollar, even though there is that on the cards. It's still the tax issue still dominating against the US dollar. One of the other major deterrents for the US dollar to push forward is recent data. Whilst it hasn't been very, very negative, it hasn't been very positive either. It's been neutral and perhaps a little bit down on the neutral towards the little bit weaker side, shall we say. That in itself probably won't deter a hike for December, but what it may do is paint a dimmer picture for 2018 and a slower progression of interest rates, and all of that is weighing up on the US dollar. Alright, if we have a look at sterling, there's really not much further developments at the moment with the Brexit situation. There is some murmurs or rumours, talks of a second Brexit vote. I think it's a bit more wishful thinking more than anything else. So, look, at the moment, the Bank of England, they have increased rates last month, as we saw, and perhaps we don't see another rate hike until perhaps really late in 2018. So at the moment, that is slowing the progression of the pound, and currently still trading above that 130 or 131 region, which is a massive psychological level, particularly after the big drop up from Brexit. So at the moment, GBP doesn't really have any momentum. It's kind of in consolidation mode, and we just need to see what the next major thing to develop out from that. Moving along to the euro, we heard Mr. Draghi speak last week. He's very, very happy with the results of the QA program that they've been implementing, and it's most unlikely that the ECB will increase rates anytime soon. So I guess for the euro, it's more of the same. I guess if you traded the euro USD from at least fundamental point of view, considering the euro has no interest in raising rates and the US does have an interest in raising rates, you could imagine there will be some kind of a correction on that one, and we could get some pullback on the euro USD, at least from a fundamental point of view. Lastly, let's have a look at the Aussie dollar. RBA did confirm this month that they are very, very neutral in their rates overview, and they're kind of just waiting to see how everything pans out. They're not ready to pull the trigger either way. This did contribute to the downslide for the Aussie dollar this month, as well as other factors, as the Aussie has pulled back quite a bit, actually helping out a couple of our trades in the process. So that's what's been happening in terms of what's moving forward. And please excuse, I sound a bit nasally today. I just do have a bit of a head cold. What we have major this week coming from the US is we have Miss Yellen will be speaking. We have FOMC meetings, which is key, crude oil, unemployment, and durable goods as well. GBP, we have inflation report, the autumn forecast, and second estimates, GDP estimates. AUD, we have policy meetings, and Governor Lowe will be speaking as well. And from the euro, we have Mr. Draghi will be speaking again. Let's see what he hasn't indicated so far. He has made it clear that they are happy with the progression of the QA program. What they haven't really indicated yet is if do they have a deadline at the point where they will start to pull to shrink the QA program and basically start tightening their policy again. So if that should happen, that should give the euro a bit of a boost as well. So that's what we have, I guess, in terms of data alone. The one that's probably going to be the most susceptible will be the GBP USD this week. So please take note of those times and announcements, and those times are in my local time, which is Australian Eastern Standard Daylight Savings Time. Alright, let me bring my charts forward. If you do have any questions that you've picked up throughout the week and you've saved them, paste them in right now. They can be off topic. I will make an effort to answer them all. Let me bring my charts and we'll start to analyze what's been happening. Okay, starting off with the Aussie USD. We saw that we actually opened the position. I think it was 2 weeks ago. It was based off these two candles over here. We were short, and you can see my trade there, and we did hit target on that one as the Aussie USD has been tumbling down. What I'm looking for now, I can't really see a spot. Oh, hang on a minute. Let's have a look. Oh, we've broken through that level as well, so I was going to see if there was something here to trade in that direction, but we've gone through that. So this is not valid. I'm just analyzing my charts live with you just so that I can get a better feel for them. I can't see a region in here right now where we might offer me some kind of support. So I'm not willing to become a buyer yet. The easiest trade is wait for the market to pull back, get some kind of a pullback price action entry at that point, and then continue with the momentum that we're clearly in a bit of a down cycle. That is the easiest trade. Let me just see if I can see something else with a different profile. One moment, and I'll see if I can find us something else. Okay, look, I stand by what I've just said. We'll keep it as we just said. We're going to wait for the market to pull back at us. We're going to look for some price action in that region, and then we're going to continue with the trend and trade it in a downward direction. Okay, it just makes no sense going against the momentum, so that's the plan. Any questions on the Aussie US dollar? Does everybody understand what we are aiming to do? We're just trying to capitalize. We've already taken one opportunity on it. We just want to continue with the ride down. Let's move along to the Euro USD. At the same time we took that Aussie trade, we had a Euro USD trade which stopped out from memory. This was the trade over here. It was a head and shoulder pattern coming back to test the support. The theory says it should have gone this way. It did not. we have been stopped out, so that one is over. Let me remove some markings from my chart. And let's see, what I have noticed is a channel developing. There's two good touches down the bottom, one at the top, and we are at a second touch right now. So what I want to do is I want to keep this channel on my chart. That if I analyze these three candles here, even though it would have been an aggressive trade, it's very, very close to a setup. I just wanted this one to be a little bit lower, probably to about that level there, and then I would have been happy to trade it as such. But it didn't happen, so we basically don't do nothing. What we'll do with this particular pattern, just keep these lines on your chart, and I think the next opportunity is down here to trade it in this direction. Okay. John, your question, was that related to the Aussie USD or the Euro USD? So with the Euro USD right now, we're trading the channel, and the next opportunity is going to be at the perimeter, as I've just said right there, and to try and bounce it off. Okay, John's question was related to the Aussie USD, so let me just jump back quickly. So John, we just took a trade off here somewhere, can't remember. There we've just taken one trade, and basically what we need to weigh, if we are in trend, if you look at the trend, the shape of the trend, it's gone down, it's retraced back, it's gone down, it's retraced back, it's gone down. So for me to take a trade right now is a little bit higher risk, because it's got a really high probability that it will retrace back. So I don't want to start my trade here. I'd rather start my trade up here. And what we're trying to do is, on these points where we come back, these turning points in here, let's call it, like when it comes back, we're looking for, in this area there, we're looking for price action, which will give us confirmation that it will continue in this direction, and it increases our probability significantly. So that is the reason I'm not willing to just jump on a trade right now. Okay, so right now I'm just going to wait. If it doesn't come down, well then that's okay. I didn't make anything, didn't lose anything, and I've survived for another day. But I believe that it probably will trade pullback, but I'm also not willing to trade the pullback, because I don't have a reason for it. I just see emptiness over here. I just have to wait for the market to find a little bit of a floor, pull back, give me the price action that I want, and then I'll hit my trade. Okay? All right. So Euro USD back on that chart. Let's wait to the perimeter before we attempt to trade. Simple as that. Let's move along. GBP USD. Okay, GBP USD. I've still got this line on my chart, and oh, jeez, it's coming close, but it didn't come to me. Okay, I'm going to draw something else on my chart right now. I get the feeling I'm just going to draw this compression. I think the market's in here a little bit, and it will either do this or do that. So I can just feel it. So I'm going to leave that in there. If you want to trade inside here in this direction, or here in that direction, you can jump into a 4-hour chart like this and start to look for your trades on the fringes. Okay, so if I jump into a 4-hour chart, give me 1 second, let me just draw it a little bit neater so I catch everything. Probably there, and about there. Okay, so now on my 4-hour chart, if the market comes up here, you can start to look for your trade, or if it comes here, you can start to look for your trade. It feels like we're in a consolidating phase, so these would become legitimate trades. You can clearly see we've got one touch up there, two touches up the top. So the top, if you think of it as a line, the line is good, and at the bottom we've also had two as well, so it is good for us as well. So for anybody new in the class, what I'm actually looking for up here, I would love to see this. So the market comes up, gives me this kind of candle, and then on the next candle, on the break of the bottom, that's what I would be looking for. So when I draw a circle on my chart, I'm looking for these types, an inside candle or an engulfing candle, and this is what I'm calling price action. If you're not very familiar with it, please go back and watch one of the videos so that you understand it. But that's what I'm looking for in that specific region right there. Okay, GBP USD is pretty clear. I'll just leave it on a daily chart, but I know that I can zoom in and execute off a 4-hour chart. So that means we could actually get a trade later tonight. As soon as London opens, if this jumps up like this, gives us what we like over here, then you can basically hit it in the downward direction. US yen, let's have a look. US yen, we also had a trade from 2 weeks ago, which was over here, I think. That one there, inside candle, and we hit target in this direction. So I didn't ask before. Can I get a show of hands? Because I know some of you took the trade live with me. Who took the Aussie and the US trades? If there's anyone in the room, just let me know who you are. So when I look at this chart right now, maybe here, there could be something here. The market could offer me something. Let me just change a couple of things and let me look for something. One moment. The US yen appears to be, this is a strange one because fundamentally I believe that the US is recovering from a fundamental point of view, which would mean I want it to go up. Okay, so that's my fundamental view. Having said that, I've been quite happy to short it. All right, so with that fundamental mentality in my head right now, I'm willing to take a bit of an aggressive trade if I get the correct candle setup here. So when this comes here, if I get something like a good price action setup, I will take it. Alright, so this is it's because it's supporting my fundamental opinion on what I think this one may do. So let me just draw it in. It could also, if it does do what I was, if it does bounce, it could also give us another head and shoulder. But let's not get too much ahead of ourselves. I'm just drawing it in right now. Let's see what happens at this level, guys. Okay, this is the highest probability that I can see right now. If you don't like it, just sit this one out. But it's still not ready yet. We're still got to wait probably 2 more candles, so it could be ready by Wednesday. Okay, let's have a look at the euro yen. Okay, this one is showing clear signs of consolidation. And notice, if you were to just draw a line across this whole lot here, notice that that line acted as resistance and then it's acted as support. The question is, can it do it again? Alright, so there could be something here right now. Let me just zoom into a 4 hour and let me look at this a little bit better. Okay, on a 4 hour chart, if we're a little bit aggressive, at the conclusion of this current candle, let's say these two candles finish exactly like they are. At the conclusion of this candle, on the next candle when it opens, we could place a pending order there to break your stop below the low, and then basically you could attempt to bounce off this level which we've highlighted, and that's based off a support level. Okay, does that make sense to everybody? So, and if I go back into like a daily chart, I'll just highlight the trade a bit better. Let me just, even if I got rid of that line, essentially what I'm seeing is congestion in that area there. So the market has been trading inside this range. So if it was to continue, when I step into a 4 hour chart, what we're trying to do is trade these two current candles right here on the break as such. Okay, so how much longer for this candle to finish? How much longer? Give me 1 second. 9 o'clock. Got about an hour and 5 minutes for this candle to finish, and it will be, you will find out if it's sets up or not. Okay, everybody clear on that? Can I just get acknowledgement that you understand what the plan is? Yep, great. All right, Kiwi dollar. Let's have a look. Kiwi dollar. It's frustrating because the Kiwi dollar, when it was over here, I said, there's a good chance that, it's going to come, it's going to bounce, and it's going to come again. But we never got a setup over here, and we didn't take a trade, even though we thought this was going to happen. But it was frustrating. We didn't actually take a trade. Okay, so like to trade these two candles right now as an inside candle, I feel it's just gone a little bit too low. Okay, it's gone a little bit too low, so this is a little bit too low, so I'm not willing to trade off this line because again I think too much has gone underneath. So having said that, what's the plan? Well, look, I think knowing that there was a floor here and which was respected over here, the fact that it went through it a bit tells me that a lot of stops got cleaned out in that process. So it is highly likely that everything that we were thinking about Kiwi dollar is still on the cards, which means we could go up to the level which I would expect to be lower than that one, and then go one more time before we break through properly. So what we can look for is we can try and look for a price action entry over here into this direction, just like we tried to find one over here. It didn't play out for us, but hopefully we do get it this time around. Alright, so that's my views on the Kiwi dollar. and not willing to trade off that level. We're waiting for a pullback to see if we can get the continuation and the push through that level. Okay, US CAD. Very smooth chart, US CAD. Not quite an entry. This one would have needed a longer tail. Would have to look a bit like this for it to be a proper entry. Oh, so what do we got? Let me just zoom out a bit. Let me see if I can find something. Okay, I've got nothing on this one. The only thing I can say is that it appears to be in a new trend starting. So if that's the case, I would expect it to go through that level, pull back, and then at that level, I would be ready to take a trade. Okay, so I've just missed this one, or it hasn't actually set up. So it's I would expect to break that high, pull back, give me something, and then enter the trade. All right. So at this stage, we're very far from a trade on the US CAD. So let's just leave it alone. Gold. Okay, we drew a line as a potential floor for us. It has respected and bounced up. This chart right now, this one's showing nothing actually. Let me get rid of this. Okay, gold is nothing. There's nothing on this one. No point dwelling on it. There's no trade here. Let's move along. Oil. Who took the oil trade with me? Last time we took an oil trade, we had to zoom right out from memory, and we found a support resistance line. We zoomed right into that region there, and when we zoomed right in, we found an inside candle. Now we caught it late. You can see my entries over there, and then pretty much I took the trade, woke up in the morning, and my full target was already hit. So who took that? Paul took it, Andrew took it, Phoebe, Craig. Oh, well done, guys. Alright, so what is on the table for us today? I want to take something. And if you were trading, this is something to note. Okay, let me just get rid of all my markings on this chart. Okay, if you were to just be looking at this chart, you could easily say that you're in trend, and if you did take that, after taking that short, you had another opportunity here only 2 days ago with an inside candle, okay, on a pullback, and it broke on the upside, so you've hit target again in the opposite direction. Alright, sometimes this happens and it's fortunate. You can hit it in both directions. So with price action, if like I've made it quite clear that I prefer like channels, geometric patterns, support lines, resistance lines, they seem to be respected more often. So I'm always looking for those, but when I can't find those, I will consider trend trades as well. Sometimes you can hit the support, pulls back, and then take the trend trade, like in this case, and you hit them both. So this was one such case. Right now, I got nothing for you on oil. We've used up all our chances. Let me get rid of these markings. I don't know where they're from. So oil, we have nothing. All right, let me do a recap. I think I've covered everything. If you have any questions, please type them in and I'll look at them. If you want me to look at something specifically, let me know and I'll do that as I recap. Aussie dollar, we are waiting for a pullback. Waiting for a pullback into this area before we can hit some price action as such. Euro USD, we have identified a channel and our first opportunity will be over here to try and trade such a trade. GBP USD, we are in a consolidation zone, and if we can hit a trade anywhere on these perimeters, we will be happy. I have zoomed into a 4-hour chart so that we can take advantage of that. US yen. US yen aggressively on a 4-hour chart, or a daily, doesn't matter which way you look at it, we could try and bounce off this line to try and hit that trade. Euro yen, okay, Euro yen is the one that's just about ready. Yeah, if you look on a daily, we're in a consolidating zone. Zoom in on a 4-hour, and we've got 1 hour to go, and we've got an inside candle situation which will allow us to try and trade the break. Okay, Kiwi dollar, and there's a question on the Kiwi dollar as well. Kiwi dollar, I said let's just leave it alone, wait for the pullback. Question is, are the current two candles looking like a dime, like a pending trade down forming? Andrew, if I zoom in, so these two candles right now, I'm not willing, I feel that it's gone too far below that level, so I am disregarding the setup. Otherwise, yes, you would be correct, this could be like an inside candle and then I would be interested in going in that direction, but because I feel that they've gone too far down, it hasn't respected the support, so I'm not looking at that trade. Okay, hopefully that answers your question. US CAD, we said we're leaving alone. It appears to be in an uptrend, but I want to break the high and then pull back and look for the trade. Gold is a nothing this week, and oil has just delivered for us two nice trades, so right now we have nothing on oil either. Alright, that wraps up. I've covered everything. Does anybody want me to look at anything in specific while you've still got me, or have a generic question about a strategy or something? Please type it in. I'll give you a moment and I'll do my best to answer the question for you. Okay, question being asked, why do I always wait for price action? Many times you don't get an opportunity to get the trade. Okay, so example over here. Give me 1 second. Okay, so with the Kiwi dollar, we were expecting a bounce and we were thinking on a pullback to take the trade there. So the question, I guess, is how come I don't just take it even though I don't have the setup that I'm looking for? Well, the reason is when the market starts to say bounce, or let's just pretend now, okay, off this level, let's just say the market is starting to go in this direction, okay, how do I know what level to pull the trigger on the trade. Okay, so do I enter the trade here? Do I enter it there? Do I enter it there, etc. So I don't really know how far the market could pull back. Okay, so the idea of price action is it's a reversal pattern. In other words, if the market's over here and you do get this type of formation, like an inside candle, the the psychology behind the inside candle, and I urge you to go back and watch a video, the psychology behind the candle is that if it is produced and then on the third candle the market breaks the low of this, then there is a high probability that the market has psychologically exhausted itself and then changed direction to go in the other direction. So then when this shows itself in one of these areas, that really increases the probability, and therefore that's the point at which I want to enter the trade to try and maximize it. Okay, hopefully that clears that question up. Could I have a look at the Euro AUD? Good time to start short trading. Thank you. Let me have a look. I know this chart very, very well, and I know many people who have blown up their account thinking it's a good time to start shorting Euro AUD. First of all, from a fundamental point of view, there are two economies who are fairly neutral. So from a fundamental point of view, it doesn't make sense. Okay, so that's the first thing. So let's look at it from a technical point of view. I'm on a daily chart, and let me zoom out. From a technical point of view, this is what I can see. A congested market which is rising, and a big break. Okay, if I go into a weekly chart, I notice there's a level there which could be something. Okay, so I just want to, let me zoom in, let me just look at it better. And we actually took it out a little bit. So now, to be quite honest, okay, if I was aggressive, if I was a little bit aggressive, this is how I would play this one. I would wait for the current candle to finish, knowing that this line is the same line from that previous high. Okay, I would wait for this, and then I would trade these two there. There will be a fractal there and in this direction. Okay, that's the trade that I can see, but it's not ready yet, so I will only know tomorrow morning. Okay, hopefully that helps that question. Another question, I'm new to this strategy. What is the best strategy for me to start with? I'm currently trying to understand auto chartist. Have a look at the T chaser, Paul. That'll get you going. Auto chartist you can use in conjunction to what I do over here. Auto chartist will try and find the pattern for you. So for example, it will try and find you, let me just, give me 1 second, let me just go to another chart. Let me bring back my normal chart. So let's say this is an Aussie dollar chart. What auto chartist will try and do is find you patterns. Actually, there's nothing on this one. Let me just try and find, like for example, see my Euro USD. Auto chartist will find you this pattern automatically for you, and then what you can do is on the edges of the patterns that you find, you can apply your price action strategy. If price action is a little bit too advanced for you right now, just watch what I do and just monitor it, but probably have a bit of a play with the T chaser, see how you feel about that one. Okay, any other questions, guys? What is a T chaser? Paul asked, whoever invited you to today's class, they will give you access to it. It's a trend-based strategy. Okay. If not, if the email that you received with the link as an invitation to today's class, just hit reply to that email and ask that question, and I'll organize to send you out a link. Okay? Alright guys, if that wraps up, we'll call it a day. Hope you all have a great trading week. Keep watching the daily call every day. Oh, one last question, pound yen. I just saw that. Let me just have a quick look at the pound yen. Some people have already left the room. Pound yen, where are you? Pound yen. There's nothing here. It's an awkward pattern on a daily chart. We're starting to get really tight. On a 4-hour chart, it's not really consistent. I can see that this level is kind of slightly rising. This one's, if anything, maybe there. Okay, if you're a little bit aggressive, if anything, here we got where's my drawing? I lost my drawing tool. Oh, that's made a lower low. Okay, so just look to see if we can pick up a price action pattern there to get a shallow short. That's on a 4-hour chart. That one, pound yen. That's the best thing that I can see for you. Okay. Alright guys, let's call it a day. Have a great trading week. Watch out for the daily call every morning, and I'll speak to you next week. Cheers. Bye for now.